Welcome back. So, I think a really common spiritual trap to fall into is thinking that your awakening lies somewhere in the future, when nothing could be more further from the truth. Because this present moment truly is all that we have. Not only in the sense that you're not guaranteed a future, but the future is an abstraction. And so your only point of departure for realizing who you are rests in this moment. Delayed awakening is no awakening at all. So don't say to yourself, I hope one day I have a spiritual awakening. I hope one day I can be like the Buddha, or like Muji, or like Ramana Maharshi. Because these are all people that represent what you are potentially, what you can be, and what you know yourself to be. And the only way to access it is in this present moment. To awaken, to use that vague term, is simply to realize that, as Scripture says, thou art that you are everything, and that you can align yourself with that and realize yourself to be that. It isn't something that you find in a different country or in a different place, or when everything in your life is perfect, or when you finally have time to settle down and do some soul searching. It's available in the here and now, in the pure potential that this present moment represents, and you just have to grab a hold of it and say, yes, I am that. It's available in the here and now. It isn't something to be hoped and wished for in the future. Because why would you willingly choose to remain in the state of suffering, of what the Buddha called dukkha, of just life as suffering and identification with just your ego? Because to do so is to live in ignorance and to, depending on what you believe, continue returning to this earth to relive life after life. So don't sell yourself down the river. Don't reside in a mental state that is untrue and unfulfilling, of always being in suffering, of identification with just your limited sense of self. If you read Zen stories, which I find really interesting, sudden awakening is usually one of the most common stories. This Zen monk, after years and years of practice, suddenly awakens to who they are, and they realize, aha, I've been it all along. It was right here with me, inside of myself this whole time. I didn't need to go to a monastery. I didn't need to leave my life behind. It was always with me. But so many people don't have that realization, and they live their entire life not realizing the truth of who they are and being able to find God and happiness within themselves. Don't live your life in perpetual unawareness, going from cradle to grave in ignorance and spiritual darkness. You can wake up right now to the truth of who you are. Close your eyes from time to time and come back to the truth and the knowledge of who you are and realize that within yourself. The time is now, the place is here, that's the path, and I hope you find it.